critical mass is and what we come here for. And if you don't, we will let you know. Just stick around and stay tuned.
Beautiful.
But yeah, beautiful segue with the music, Ganga, and so good to have you on board. Welcome everyone. And yeah, I'll pass it over to you.
Awesome. Thank you. So, for those who don't know me, my name is Ganga Devi Braun. I am based in Sebastian, or specifically Roseland, Florida, um, which is, I'm just in love with the fact that my town is called Roseland. Uh, it's a small fishing community that is home to the first ever National Wildlife Refuge. And and I've been reflecting a great deal lately about this place, how grateful I am to call it home. It's where Ali also calls home. We were in preschool together, and our lives continue to weave. We're under the same roof currently right now. And and it's actually very interesting to reflect on both this place physically, where I am connecting to you all from, where I feel very deeply rooted. And I want to articulate and position that and welcome you all to connect with the place that you are, whether it's the place where you physically are, that is where you feel most rooted in the world, but also if there's a place in the world that you feel more rooted, that's not where you physically are right now, to call that place in as well and to feel your roots going deep. That will be very relevant to the meditation that we're going to share together soon. And I mean that we will share it. We will be sharing that experience together, but also this place on the internet that we are in, the Vision Train, which is a place on the internet that is always moving, that is named for a train that is, in continuous perpetual motion and connecting all the places around the world where visionary artists exist and live and practice art, which is everywhere. And the place in the world on the internet that the Vision Train was born from is where a great deal of my work was born from as well, which was the Design Science Studio in 2020. It's a continuously evolving community with new cohorts beginning every year or so. But Amanda Sage and I were in the first cohort together, and it's been really amazing to see how the Vision Train has evolved and unfolded and come to life in the time since then. And during that first cohort, I was asked very often to guide meditations and contemplative experiences, as well as ritual experiences for the cohort to support the group coherence and the field that we were all creating together. And so when Ali and I were talking about my presence here today, it felt very, very natural to return to a meditation practice that I used a great deal then. And it is a practice of rooting deeply into place, into the body of the earth. Um, and I was reflecting recently about how rooting into the earth is, yes, it is a practice of space and place. It is also a practice of time and time travel. And all of the layers of rock and sediment and soil that exist within the body of the earth exist because of the layering of time. We are walking literally on the foundation of our ancestors and the ancestors of all of life on this planet, all the way back to the first diatoms, to the earliest forms of what you could argue may or may not even be considered life on this planet, um, to the earliest flows of water that simply moved minerals around and created just enough chaos that the conditions for life could potentially be possible. That is the lineage and the legacy that we are sitting on, quite literally, wherever we are on the earth right now. And by traveling deeper into place and traveling deeper into time, we the amazing thing is that by regenerating our relationship going in and down, we actually can regenerate our capacity to move forward and move outward. The deeper our roots go in, the more nourished our branches can be to move out into the world and to create big waves and big shadows with our lives and with our art and the things that we do, as well as having a deeper rootedness that can inform our visions for what can be possible for the future, which is really necessary. And I imagine that folks here are more practiced, perhaps, than the um, dominant culture at the practice of visioning beautiful futures, visioning futures that are loving and thriving and inclusive of all life on Earth, and even sensing into the idea that that could be possible and seeing what creations arise from that is a very, very important and powerful capacity that I believe, those who would have us disempowered have a vested interest in us remaining disconnected from that capacity. I love that just before right now, this last hour on the Vision Train, there was a beautiful reading of an ancient Sumerian myth of the in honor of the hoe of this tool of agriculture. And we often, I think, many of us who study history and are trying to understand what's at the root of the poly crisis, what's at the root of the meta crisis, we can really very easily come to the conclusion that agriculture is a core source of our disconnection and of the harm of the human relationship with the living world. Um, and I think that connecting with the reverence and the devotion that our deep time ancestors had to the earliest expressions and manifestations of agriculture can help soften perhaps some judgment and some whatever it is that we may be holding around these roots of time, and recognizing that there is beautiful and perilous repercussions to every advancement that our species makes. And I believe that the most important thing that we can do, especially when we are living in a time of massive transformation, which we are certainly in right now, is to connect more deeply to the earth and welcome the messages and the wisdom of the earth to inform our bodies, to know that our bodies are not separate from the earth, and to allow the relationship between our bodies and the earth to shape us into the kind of people that I believe we were born to be here. This is the philosophy that I'm describing, we call ecosomatic cybernetics. And I don't want to go into the heady philosophical side of things. I want to drop us into our bodies together. So that's what we're going to do now. But know that if you want to go there, I am always happy to when the time and the space is right. So I invite you, if you would like to drop into meditation space together, to find an environment and a position where your body feels both relaxed and supported. And you may be supported by furniture, you may be supported by a tree or the ground underneath you. And very importantly, if it's possible for you to feel supported by the structure of your bones, of your spine, and of your body, the stones that are inside of you, your beloved bones. And beginning to just feel that weight and moving them around, moving your body around until you feel actually really like you're in the position that you want to be, rather than what you feel is right or appropriate or required of you. Sometimes we get really stuck on models of meditation that take us out of the authority of our body and what our body needs. And at any time during this experience, if there's anything that you need to do to adjust your experience of both pleasure and presence, please do that. We, in our academy, the Amuna Academy, we always open everything with the invitation to pop yourself, and it's pop squared. There's two meanings. There's the power of presence and pleasure optimization practice. And so, if it's supportive of you to reduce distractions, but also to make yourself cozy, to nourish yourself, to, bring in good smelling scents or beautiful lighting in your space. Whatever it is that can support your pleasure is a priority, especially since we're in our own respective environments. So with that context setting and that invitation to really be in agency and ownership of your own bodily experience during this time. If you would like to, you are welcome to close your eyes and begin deepening your breath. And bringing awareness with each breath into the sensations that are inside your own body. Perhaps feeling what it is to be inside your hand right now. And expanding that awareness to your forearm. You may want to make circles with your wrist to just sense into the feeling of being inside of your body. Welcoming any sensory signals, images, or other sensations. And expanding that awareness to up to your shoulder, perhaps, into your chest, down into your other shoulder and arm and elbow and wrist, making movements if you'd like to. What is it like inside of your pinky? And slowly, with awareness, continuing to expand this sensitivity to what it is to be inside of your body now. Perhaps rising back up into your chest and moving up into your throat, into the space between your jaws, feeling the space inside your mouth, and the space behind your eyes, and in between your ears. And from the brilliance of your mind, of all of these amazing sparks of electricity firing off in your brain right now, begin to bring this awareness down your brain stem, down your spine, and start visualizing, if you are able to, your own neurological firings, the connections between your neurons as sparks of light, noticing the color and the quality of that light and how your nerves spread like mycelium from your brainstem through your entire body, and expanding that quality of awareness into your abdomen, into the space between your hips, full of many, many nerves and sensations. You may want to rotate your body a little bit, maybe do some Kegels and some, sensation mapping inside your pelvis to really bring that question, that awareness. What does it feel like to be inside of my body? And extending that awareness into your thighs, your knees, all the way down your legs into your ankles and your feet, each of your toes. And noticing that sensation being evidence of your neurons generating this electricity, this light, all throughout your body. And bringing this scanning awareness into the wholeness of your body that we have journeyed through now. Feeling the light and the electricity, this mycelial network within your own body. And how that energy and light concentrates the tendrils weaving together along your spine. If it feels safe and good for you now, I invite you to see that woven rope of light leaving this human body and moving downward to come into contact with the rest of the body of the earth. Like a taproot, going down through whatever it is that you're sitting on, through the floor, reaching the soil, beginning to branch out like a root system into the crust of this earth. And allow yourself and your awareness of your own taproot to begin to explore. Maybe you want to go down, deep down. Maybe you want to go wide. Maybe you want to explore what is in front of you or move backwards to explore the spaces behind you. Perhaps your roots branch out into every direction, growing connection, deepening with curiosity into all the life forms that are found there in the soil. And perhaps going deeper and wider and deeper and wider. Maybe you discover aquifers, springs underneath the ground, big caves, fossils of our deep time ancestors. And as you journey, you begin to sense into whether your tendrils come into contact with those of others on this call, either right now or even in the recording in the future. Or maybe people around the world who are meditating with the earth in this moment, who've never heard of the Vision Train, who've never come into contact with any of us, but who are there with their awareness. Perhaps you are coming into contact with the very root systems of the trees of this world and our deep, wise relatives of the more than human world who perhaps always have their roots deeply planted in the body of the earth. And so from this place, just saying hello. Hello to the planet. Hello to each other. Hello to all of the incredible life forms, named and unnamed, that we share this world with. And from this place of our interconnectedness, asking the question, what is possible? What is the potential? of this moment, of my own life, of the communities I'm a part of the creativity that can't help but pour out of me. What is the potential here? Welcoming whatever it is that comes from this inquiry. And taking a moment to send any gifts of gratitude, any prayers that you have for the collective. What is it that you want to say to the whole? What is it that you want to bless the world with? And sending pulses of that down into the root system that we all share. And slowly, as you feel ready, with gratitude and a really rooted sense of your own personal power, you can begin to draw yourself, your energy, your roots back up through the layers of this planet, through the mantle of the earth, back up into your own body here and now. And when and if you are ready, you are welcome to bring your face into this shared space of us together. And the way I like to do everything is really always designed for building collective power through the power of collective wisdom. And I am curious if anyone would like to share what that experience may have been for you, what you may have received or experienced in that. And if there is art that you would like to share, whether it is art that you are painting right now or a poem that you'd like to share with us, whatever it may be, that is really welcome. We have some time together in the rest of this hour, if that's all right, Ali. And Ali, if you would mind, or I think I can remove the spotlight. I'd like to be able to see folks So if anybody would like to speak, you can, or Ali, if you'd like to spotlight me and multiple people, whatever you'd like to do, we can weave together a bit. Wow, Michelle, that is amazing. Beautiful, beautiful, infinite lion portal. Thank you. Paul.
I dropped right into the middle of that, um, which was interesting. Interesting to drop into the middle of a meditation. Um, but it brought up some really nice images for me, and I would love to actually share a poem as a result. Um, this is a poem that I wrote based on some work by John O'Donohue, and it's called A Blessing for Beauty. May the journey be one of ease, where presence blossoms in your heart. May the days be filled with the simple joys where delight is a path to happiness. May every sunrise and sunset be golden and show your inner light. May the old wounds and hurts fall away and heal with only a tiny scar. May you find a path to compassion and see the light in the darkest places of another's heart. May you remember the accomplishments that you had and never acknowledged. May you see the beautiful possibilities on every horizon and through every doorway. May your relationships be emergent and filled with sincere and heartfelt engagement. May you listen to the hum of the universe and understand to not say a word. May you compose the song of your life and record it for eternity's embrace. May whatever you believe or not believe as the divine be embodied in your soul. May the beauty of the world carry you into a beautiful divine death with ease. May you never lose the beauty of who you really are, even if you don't know.
Thank you so much, Paul. If you had told me that that was from John O'Donohue, I would be like flipping through my copy of To Bless the Space Between Us to bookmark
No,
it.
it was based on one that he wrote. That was my poem actually that
Yeah.
I wrote. Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Mm.
you've captured
Yeah, yeah.
the
Thank you.
incredible quality of his blessings with such an authentic also expression of your own voice and how beautiful.
Mm,
Thank you.
hmm. Yeah,
I would love to if you'd like to share that in any form, I would like to be able to read that and revisit that many times.
sure. Let me think about how to do that.
Mm, beautiful. Would
Thank you.
anyone else like to share? Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you so much. That was super, super beautiful and nourishing guided meditation. There's couple of points, but the main one that I wanted to share because the way you've spoken about us as part of the rooted system on the ground and all the connections and the interconnectivity was really like that struck me the most and got to me the most, and I felt it really deeply. And some time ago, I have created. So it's not about something I've made today, but a while ago I was working on this big piece that was really, if I was about to put it in the meditation, you just did it tonight. Because that meditation literally is about the painting I've painted a while ago. So I wanted to share this. I've got a big piece, which be too difficult for me to put out right now. So I'm going to share with you guys piece that is called Life Forms, and I'm going to read part from what it's about. And the main message from that painting is, I hope it'll be visible okay if I'll just change the I think I need to just change the background situation, and then you'll be able to see. Okay.
Yes,
So
beautiful. Wow.
So this is a mandala type of painting that I was downloading from, including all the different life forms that are present on the planet that we all interconnected with. And I was really going for different parts of trying to connect the terrestrial life with the oceanic life as well. So we're talking about like, the smallest diatoms that you've mentioned as well, as like alga and the hawthorn tree and all the different like organisms from bacteria, that this life that we experience as humans is possible because of all the other parts that are like evolutionary speaking evolved into what we experience now. And with the all mycelia and that fascia that I sort of express in the human body, I guess. So I'm looking at like various different, you can see there's a fungal mycorrhizal sort of circling around the structure that holds it all in together, basically, so we can have trees and have root systems because of that fungal structure. So all of that was going into this painting, and it's very detailed. It's got a lot of that. I just wanted to include because your meditation really reminded me about this painting that I've painted. And the question about it was about exploring this: what relationship do I have with my surroundings and the other organisms, as well as how my actions affect and shape these environments, both locally as globally. And then what the message would come through would be that as we stand in this pivoting moment in time of human evolution, it's time to realize that we are connected and interdependent with all life on Earth. Engaging with our kind human nature and learning from her is the way forward for maintaining planetary health. May we all walk this human life with love, stewardship, respect, and inspire one another. So this is the print that I've just sharing for. Hope the visibility is okay.
It's amazing and it's very clear. And I'm like, where can I buy from that print?
Oh, and
If it's possible, please share it in the chat because
I
wow,
will
what an incredible piece.
I will share. Thank you. Yeah, this is actually printed on a reindeer poo paper made of reindeer poo. So the company that I collaborate with, they are fully sustainable and they are supporting a lot of really good sustaining practices. So there's no waste, and the waste of animal product or waste product is utilized into paper. So this is particularly a reindeer animal that this was printed on.
That's
So
incredible.
thank you. I'll put it in the chat. Thank you.
Amazing. Amazing. So you're just so perfectly inspiring me to share. Over 9 years ago, I had this phrase pop into my head, and it was on a day where I think I was making a lot of art that day. But I was walking past this area where the community I was raised in had goats at the time. And I was walking past the goat sanctuary. It was goat heaven. It was like the most amazing environment for goats that you could imagine. Um, and the term came into my mind, the art of regenerative living. And I didn't know, like, at first I was like, oh, maybe there's like a podcast that I'll do that's called that. And like, it's taken a lot of different terms, but there's something about just the power of the phrase itself, the art of regenerative living. And I've played with it over the years of like the living of regenerative art and the regeneration of artful living. And, just like playing with like these three kind of words and their relationship with one another. And I'm preparing. I don't know if any of you are familiar with the work of Nora Bateson, but she's an amazing person who I strongly recommend everyone here tune into interviews and conversations with her on YouTube. They're easy to find. Um, but she's very much. I'm going to be studying with her in just a couple of weeks. And one of the things that she really emphasizes is like, you could call, whatever the movement is that you're identified with, whether it's regeneration or transdisciplinarianism or, like many different, the human potential movement, uh, new age framing. There's like a million different kind of frames, but none of it is going to really take root fully. Unless and until the state of consciousness and the way of seeing and perceiving and thinking about the world is transformed. And I've been involved for over a decade now with various regenerative works of like land projects and many different industries, many different domains. Um, and I have a lot of excitement and also concern. And I'm just like continue always, 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 no matter what domain my professional life brings me to, I always come back to the power of art for communicating this and for helping us to deepen the into the state of being that is necessary in order for the things that we do and the things that we create and the things that we craft to actually be coming from a different place than the system and the model that got us here. And I I love the book The Day You Were Born. Oh, so beautiful. Yes. And Asia, I just have to say, the painting that you just shared with us is like I would like for everyone on the planet to spend some time with that. To spend some time with the blessing, the poem, Paul, that you shared, to spend some time deepening into the quality of being that is necessary for nourishing the the culture and the world that the earth is asking and requiring that humanity really deeply transition to. And remember, it's a all regenerative work is pulling from what has been in order to create fertile soil for the future. And that is, what so many of our indigenous relatives are calling us into. And um, there's the beautiful thing is that there's infinite variation and infinite creativity in how we can do that. But it's so essential, I think, that we value the role of art in that work. And that's why I'm just so delighted always to be in weaving with this space and this community. It's really amazing. I'm so grateful.
Likewise, thank you so much.
Thank
That's
you.
amazing to be here and to get so inspired and also reassuring, I'd even say, because it's like you said, we remind each other about something that is deeply rooted within us already. It's just finding the space to reconnect with these parts. And thanks for the inspiring session.
Yes, and Asia, Michelle has asked in the chat if you would share the painting again.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. So this is the actual print, because the painting itself, the original is on a A1. It's got a bit more texture than I think is visible on the camera, but because it's a nighttime here where I am.
So beautiful.
So I like the mandala because it's sort of like a visual prayer for me to see it like that. And
Yes, and from the original mandala, the source in the Tibetan tradition, the mandala is a two-dimensional representation of much more than three-dimensional structures that are crafted within one's own mind stream through practice. It very much it's a tool of consciousness, not just as like I'm engaging in this visual thing that's a representation of something, or that that the symbols are there, but it really is um, a tool of multidimensional consciousness cultivation within our own beings, and that we can find that the mandala can exist within us, and we also can find ourselves within the mandala of all of life all around us. So I so love that is the form and the structure. And if you are able to share in the chat,
I
um,
will do.
where
Yes.
where we can order prints, I think I'm not the only person who would
Thank
be
you.
interested in that.
I think if it's okay if I just share my Instagram, because you can just DM me there and I can just send it that way. I think it's just more straightforward if that was all right with you.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll just answer the questions too. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yeah, and we have a little bit more time if anyone else is bursting to share. And I will also share with you all that uh the art of regenerative living has turned into a course that I have offered a number of times. The first time actually was around the time that the Vision Train was first begun with the Design Science Studio. Um, and I uh, this year is going to be very, very different. Through the weekend, we are doing a like pay what you can model as an experiment. But one of the things that's really different about how we're doing it this year is that we're partnering with the Vision Train to create. And so whether or not you're in the course, we will have a 2 hour trip in the Vision Train for just collaborative art making. And it'll be co-creative. I don't know what it will be. There may be some degree of space setting with meditation, with maybe poetry, but perhaps it maybe there are times where it's just like someone within the course and the community is DJing. Maybe it'll be me, maybe it'll be others, and we'll be kind of creating art together. And we'll be doing art cultivation over the course of 3 months in this course with a different focus than I've ever done before. This time, really, really working with soil and with shadow and with death and with darkness as kind of core elements of the collective earth and human psyche that we are really systemically disconnected from. I had a really fantastic conversation earlier this year with Tristan Harris, who's doing amazing work on advocating for sound and sensible AI policy. And one of the things that he was saying was that at the Center for Humane Technology, they are talking about how we need to become an umbraphilic species. And umbra means shadow. So umbraphilic actually originally most commonly is a term that's used for people who seek eclipses. So it's actually kind of amazing to be in an eclipse window with you all, thinking about being umbraphilic and becoming an umbraphilic humanity, a humanity that is shadow loving and shadow seeking, rather than saying, constantly rejecting our shadows and the things that we don't want to acknowledge or own um, or have as a part of who we are and acknowledge that are really true parts of who we are. Um, and actually like loving ourselves and loving the whole enough to recognize that the things that we have perhaps rejected, whether again it's of the species, of the planet, or of our own beings, are able to be welcomed back to our own wholeness. And there's psycho-spiritual dimensions of that work. There's also ecological dimensions of that work. We have very much as a species rejected the dark, the wet, the fertile, and the fecund, places of our world. That's why mycology is the only by a large degree, the most underfunded mega science of all mega sciences. Within humanity, we know very little about mushrooms and mycology because it happens in the dark, fertile, wet places that we have a collective within our culture, rejection of, and that shows up also in medicine with women's bodies and our reproductive centers being completely underfunded and under-researched and misunderstood. All the way, of course, to layers of our own psyche, so it's the internal and the external are continuous reflections and representations of the shadows that we have to work through. And I'm so curious to see what art comes from that first full month of October, where we'll be focusing on the gold in our shadows. And then the second month we'll be working with, in November, the alchemy of death. And of course, there's tremendous, beautiful art that can come from really working with the alchemy of death, whether we're thinking about our beloveds who have died or the death process of compost and of the leaves falling, at every single scale. And then in December, we'll be moving into the fertile darkness of winter and completing on the winter solstice. And I'm just so curious to see what art emerges. And for those of you who may not join the course, but who will just be in the vision train to see what art we all weave together and create together alongside one another. I'm really, really curious to see what that turns into. And I really do believe that regenerative consciousness, needs to be embodied with deep psycho-spiritual integrity within ourselves. And from that place of that integrity, expressed into culture. And how does it get expressed into culture? It's through art. So creating that loop, and that we're all psycho-spiritually developed by one another's art, and that informs the art that we create together, that we're in this continuously reinforcing, torus shape of the psychological mycelium that we're all moving through together. That's the way I see it. And I'm really curious and excited to play and explore with some really amazing, brilliant people and cultivate our creativity together. So yeah, that's a sharing and an invitation, and also context for those of you who might see that chunk of time. It'll be Thursday afternoons in the coming 3 months from the autumn equinox till the solstice. Just know how welcome you will be to join us in those trips, and how curious I will be to see what we all create from that space.
Yeah, and of course, I shared in the chat. I mean, you already know the art of regenerative living, just the phrase, like you said, I wrote about it on Substack. I mean, it's you've acknowledged such a gift, it came to you as a gift, and the way that you have shared it has been a gift. And every single time that it's offered without fail, I will be there because it is one of my favorite offerings that I've encountered. So it would be so special to have members of this community join us, and to know that we're going to be able to like bridge that generosity as well with the open forum on Thursdays is going to be really cool. And just like I said, seeing you stepping more into your visual art practice, it's really special the way that you do the ecosomatic, say it again, ecosomatic cybernetics. Did I say it right?
Yes,
Almost.
ecosomatic cybernetics is our operating philosophy, and just so everyone knows, the word cybernetics is overly associated with technology and machines, etc. Um, but the term cybernetics comes from the Greek term kybernetes, which is to steer. It's the steering of of a system, steering of a ship, and the original context of the word cybernetics entering into the current meaning of it was from Norbert Wiener, who was deeply inspired by a book called The Wisdom of the Body. That was the first ever book about the autonomic nervous system. And he took the learnings from The Wisdom of the Body and applied it to machine work that he was doing. But the book that he first published all of this in was called Cybernetics: Communication and Control in Animal and Machine. And in our dominant culture, the emphasis has always been very much focused on the control and the machine side of things. But the communication and the animal piece of it is very much alive, and has continued to be alive through what we call cybernetic countercultures, which we are all living legacies of, which I could go on and on about. But I wrote an essay called Rewilding Cybernetics that goes into some of the history of this. And and really, like, it is our birthright as human beings alive today to come into our agency in our ability to steer the systems that we belong to. That is an amazing thing that humans are capable of. We are capable of second order cybernetics, which is a term developed by Margaret Mead, the anthropologist, um, about the fact that if we are within a system and we are aware of the ability to steer a system, that is second order cybernetics. And there's a tremendous amount of responsibility that we have with that. And many of us as humanity, if you have the attitude of like, oh, we're cooked, or like things are just like shitty and there's nothing I can do about it, you're really abdicating a very serious responsibility of the fact that any of us are alive on the planet right now means that there's shit that we can do, in my opinion. Um, and and that we have a responsibility to use our gifts in the ways that we uniquely are capable of. And we have a responsibility to support each other in cultivating those gifts. And ecosomatic cybernetics is really turning toward the relationship that we have with our body and with the body of the earth and with the whole that we all belong to in order to inform how we steer moving forward. So that's the operating philosophy of the Amuna Academy, and I'll share some links in the chat for anybody who's interested in exploring. And feel welcome also to just like reach out to me. I love just connecting with people.
Perfect. Sorry, doing a couple things at once there for a moment, but yeah, that all sounds wonderful. And I'm happy also to connect any of you with Gunga if you guys lose track of links or don't know exactly where to go. Like she said, she and I are often under the same roof as we are now. So just a hop, skip, and a jump and away, and it's very easy for me to connect you guys. So yeah, thanks for being here, Gunga. I guess if anyone else has anything that they'd like to share, we can share that in the chat or we can keep that going in the Mighty Networks because we've got Amanda in the room and we're going to prepare for our final momentum report. It's going to be a short one because we've still got hours to go till we sleep, till, as they say, you know. So our grand finale really happens tonight at midnight Mountain Time, but we want to hop around and give you guys an update on what we've been up to these last 6 weeks, tell you where we're at, and just give a little share from the heart. So I think we'll take just a moment to pause the recording, reset, and we'll welcome Amanda up. Thanks again, Ganga.
Hello, hello, everyone. I'm wondering if I think we're waiting for each other at the train stop. Or should we put on some music? Or Marina, are we streaming live? Looking for the crew? Choo choo.
Hey, choo choo, my friends. We are live, we are rolling, and yeah, what's up?
Okay. Here we go. All right, here we go. We're on to the next section of the journey. And Marina, you're yeah, streaming live. We're here. I missed this last part of Ganga's share, but I heard the very last bit, and it was amazing. And I'm so inspired that there's this weave with the Vision Train, Imuna Academy, the very verse, and all these different kind of group regenerative visionary group projects. I was going to say mission, but I don't like to use mission as much. And we've found each other through similar threads, and so I think continuing on that thread, Marina, I'm curious, and Ali, I guess if you guys want to tune in for this as well, for this momentum report around everything that's transpired in the past 6 weeks, because it's been so alive and active, and there's been so many trips, so many beautiful weavings that have happened here on the train for this specific ride of the gathering momentum, themed gathering momentum. And I think we've really discovered that. I love how I keep going in and out with my hat. I've been setting up as a part of a local market today, which is like this theme too of this gathering momentum around the in-person and then the online, which is then the space station, right, where we connect in diverse locations all over the world and have these tools and have been building these tools, right, to connect. And it's so cool because I know right now in Brazil, some of the Vision Train crew, Kyra and Ish, are visiting Marina and Danilo. And that is like one of the results, right, of like the crew coming together and finding each other even over drastic, diverse distances, right? And that is what brought together through art, right? And shared vision, right? Vision Train. So I feel so encouraged by that and so inspired, also knowing that there's crew gathering in Mexico, and Selena Jane was on here earlier, and I know Austin, they went and visited them recently, and just all these weavings, right? And it may seem insignificant, but it's not. It's very significant. It is the ripple of how it touches our individual lives, right? And this is what, even though we're not like, a bunch of us aren't together in person, there will be a moment in our lives, grace willing, right, where we do get to interface. And we leave a trace through that. There's ripples. So yeah, Marina and Kyra and Ish, do you guys have any reports around your experience of gathering momentum and coming together?
Yeah, this gathering momentum, is it 5 or 6 weeks? 6 weeks. I can't believe it's been 6 weeks. In the beginning of the 6 weeks, I decided I was going to do 2 trips a week for each theme, and like having conversations with a lot of people on the train and encouraging daily art practice and creativity. And it's been amazing to have these conversations and seeing who is coming on this trip this week and the next week. And then like physically, we were in Brazil, we were in Ecuador, which is my mom's home country, and it was our first time going. And now we're in Brazil in Marina's house. Like these are things I never thought in my life would happen. So I don't know, I just felt the call like so deeply, everything resonated so much, and it's like, okay, we're going somewhere. And now we're here together on the train.
Gathering momentum together, my friends. Like,
gathering momentum for gathering this momentum. Like I have vision train riders on my living room. You guys know what this is like? Yeah, like Amanda said, seems simple, like it's a visit. No, it is like a manifestation of something like really that it's being built. It's being built with every meeting here on the train, with every gathering, with every getting together and creating art. And so it is deep, like it is deep. Yeah, I share this. It was one every hour, but it's coming again. Anyway, the vision train, like it brings us this practice, these techniques that we can level up our skills here. But this is something like half of what we get on the train. And half of it is subtle. And it is something that is lived and experienced here in real life, even though through pixels and electricity and waves. But it is something that is really tangible. Like my life has transformed. I was sharing this the other gathering momentum. So yeah, I've been gathering momentum almost every Friday, but the last one, but one after the first one, yeah, the second one, I was not possible to come, but I was in all of those. And also like what Kyra said, the gatherings that happen, the shares that happen during these 6 weeks. We were here every Friday for 6 weeks, gathering like a lot of experience from each other. And well, during this gathering momentum, I also gathered a notebook where I had written down something from a bit before of 4th of July. It was before of the time that I started the vision train. And I said, hello, diary. Today I've invested in a painting course. It was many money, and I hope I can learn. First class, 4th of July, Saturday, materials for painting. And then here there is like things from the workshop. There is a plant. And then here is the Transformation 2020 workshop where I've met Amanda, where I've met many, many vision train riders that still rides the train until now. And this community has only bigger. And the way that I can show up now, like this little kid in 2020, like wouldn't even imagine like what I'm doing now. It is really incredible because the things that we can bring if we have the support of each other, it is incredible. And the vision train has showed me, and each of you are like a little piece of me that I've learned with you all, that I grew with you all, that I evolved with you all. So thank you all so deeply. It was really nice. So yeah, really glad, super excited to be here gathering momentum. Yay. Go out.
Choo-choo.
Toot toot. Ish, what's the vision train mean to you?
Well, it's been really interesting. It's been really interesting because Kyra was always on the vision train and seeing all the different crazy people, and it's like, okay, you can actually meet these people, and we supposed to meet her in January, so I got like a big alternative shift. I wound up meeting this dude from Portugal in a coffee shop, and he's like, you make art, and like I have friends in Brazil, and my brother is really big in Brazil, and like I'm like, Brazil, we just supposed to go there. So we wound up connecting, and then we came to Brazil to actually meet Marina. I connected with his brother. We made a shit ton of art. Then I got to meet Marina. We both got to meet Marina. But prior to coming, we was kind of stuck in São Paulo for a minute, which was a little crazy. I was like, oh
Which is
shit.
where Marina is from. Her home city.
But then
It's crazy.
and then a good confirmation was the dude that was fixing our Wi-Fi. He had a crazy tattoo on his forearm, and it was a like the head of a train with smoke and like red slashes in it. I was like, what the fuck? So for me,
The
it's
guy
like,
from the Wi-Fi
yeah.
stand, like the one that's bringing the train.
Yeah. So for me, it's about just connecting with people, and then if you're like blessed enough, you get to connect with them in person, and I get to trade art, and then it's like a big time of history. And like when you look back on it, it's like we're actively making history. So that's what it means
Yeah.
for me.
I
Great.
think it's hard to, in the midst of it, to know that we're actually we're all contributing to a movement. And it's an
Yeah.
extension of art, of many other art movements, and this great art movement tree, right? Of visionary, surreal, fantastic, psychedelic art, right? But what's behind all of it, I feel like what connects us, I think of the mushrooms and I think of mycelium and the network, right, of that is like of nature, right? And there's something in that, in the psychic sphere, right, that is also connecting us. And it's through memes. It's interesting, the train, right? So it's like you already have the train as a meme in your field, and it means something to you, not just a mode of transportation, right? And then you see a guy with a tattoo that has a train on it, and you're like, dude, we're
Yeah.
connected, right? And so that's kind of how I've always seen, like, the train is just this powerful meme that I see someday as being like us all being on a train and going across the country and around the world, just the potential of this vessel to take us back on the tracks on a journey of regeneration and reconciliation and remembrance is there. And it's what happened with 2020, and Marina's talking about how this workshop happened, which it was spurred by the 2020 pandemic that took us all into lockdown, right? So we started teaching online, and then but before that, it was like we could actually gather, I think, on this thing called Zoom, and we could have art jams. Wouldn't that be so great? We could jam with our friends in Australia and Central America and Canada and all over the place, in Europe. And it worked. It happened, right? We just started it March 24th, put out a call, and folks showed up. And we just learned how to keep it going. And so 6.5 years later, here we still are, right? And we're like, coming and going. You can get on the train, you can get off the train. And what is it that you're going to bring to the train? What does it mean to create a third space that's co-creative, right? That's in space, because where are we right now? We're together, but we're
Yeah.
like I like to call it a space station, literally, and experiment with culture, building culture, creating culture, which has a way of like reciprocity. What are we like offering each other, and what are we taking with us? And it like in that's what really fuels this, you know. So anyhow, thanks, Ish. I'm glad. I know you're not always on camera and like on like hosting trips and stuff, but we know you're there. And there's so many other crew members that are affiliated with folks that are the conductors and stuff, that are that are contributing to making this possible. So I just want to acknowledge everyone out there, and Kyra, everything that you've done this past 6 weeks and stepping up so much to host trips, and to, your new website launch and all your daily visions. Like, I see you, and I'm inspired by you. And Marina, it's so cool. All the stuff that Marina, everybody has built the really dope website for the Vision Train. And there's so many cool shop items in there that are developing, coming from Vision Train crew. And this is all a result of the last fundraiser we did, Light Up the Tracks, right? So if anybody like wants to know really where these funds are going, we will be totally transparent and share with you, because we have it pretty organized, and it's going straight into what we say it's going to go to. And there's like the amount of volunteer hours that still go into all of this from all of us is ridiculous. And it's because we're passionate. We're passionate, and we know that it's multiplying. All of the gifts and the energy that we're putting in is continuing to multiply. And Allie, Big shout out to you, Ali, for bringing the gathering momentum as the theme and really like weaving the psychic sphere between communities. You know, and Ali's been responsible for putting together the newsletters and writing these really beautiful, breakdowns kind of what's going on the train. And so if you're ever curious, you know, those newsletters are fantastic if you're not on those. And Brittany, I want to acknowledge Brittany out there, Brittany Monster, who's been holding down the social media for years. And she's just such a key crew member of, I feel like she has such a centered pole now being a mother too, of just clarity. And this is something that I feel coming through with these eclipses is like, let's just get to the point, folks. Cut away what's not needed anymore. Let's get really clear. And I feel this articulation happening here on the train because as artists, and I feel this in a deep way, man, I want to finish that painting. I want to do that. And then I want to produce this. And then I want to go, keep in touch with this. And then you're just like, whoa, I'm doing like 5 full-time jobs. But we're helping each other, through this, to align our visions, get more clear. The workshops, I'm excited for the workshops in the Vision Train continuing to evolve because that's something that I know everybody feels really excited about. And it's training grounds. The Vision Train is training grounds. And yeah, Ali, would you like to share anything? And I can just keep rambling.
Oh, I love it. And I've definitely, just based on what everybody shared, the things that are sticking out for me definitely are like the inspiration factor, but also like the gift of perspective. You guys are all talking about like, we're on the train, we're on the tracks, yes, but none of this feels particularly linear. Everything is connected. Yes, there are all these pathways to retrace our steps and to sort of time travel here and there, but it doesn't, there's like you were talking about the network and picturing the mycelial web, and the same thing is running inside of our heads. If you guys have seen like how neurons look when you map them out, it's exactly like that. And it's to be able to look at the train behind Amanda. Do you think that thing cares? It's like the magic school bus. Like we can go anywhere, anytime. It's so the spaceship thing is so it's just fun to play into all the sci-fi metaphors and the freedom, not only of the vehicle that we've created, but like the sense of confidence that instills in us and the sense of personal agency and solidarity that we find on the train. So yeah, gathering momentum has been a wild ride. I was reflecting on Selena's trip earlier about the timing has felt perfect every step of the way, but not easy, not like there's been so much energy moving through this eclipse season. And we were consulting because you had sent me a message earlier about like, oh, thank goodness it's over. Well, she said we have 2 more weeks. So just a word of warning, it is not over yet. We have more excitement to come. But just to be remembering that like all along, this thing has been this wave that we're riding, the great wave of transformation. And we are not doing this alone. There was a trip earlier as well with the Cooperativa de dos Povos, and she was talking about how knowledge is always shared. Always, evolution can never be accomplished alone. It is a group effort, a team sport. Life is a team sport. So just thinking back to that image of the network and how truly connected we are, and we see it time and again in nature. And thankfully, we're seeing it reflected in our communities as well. So I just really wanted to celebrate that. I wanted to also celebrate just again with the name, like, and this is historically accurate. I don't know what it is about artists, but we really love the feeling of like waiting till the last minute and then just like creating something out of thin air. So it's like we've been like inching along, and then all of a sudden, like, how much money have we raised today? Like over $1,000. Like it's just like, and we're not slowing down. So thank you, everyone who has contributed up to this point. But maybe we could throw up the Gathering Momentum page on the screen share and show everybody where we're at and give a little bit of acknowledgement. It's just so cool to see how many donations have come in today alone.
Yeah, I'm so so grateful and inspired to see where this is going to take us next. And there's this quote too that I feel really speaks to what, is encouraging to what we're up to. Never doubt that a small group of committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it is the only thing that ever has. And so when considering too, that's by Margaret Mead. And in considering, what we're up to, this is something that I know is just in motion, and that all of our presence and like being in this, repetition also of articulating what it is that we want. There's something very key to that, like what it is that, and questioning what it is that we want to contribute and what our role is, how we can really contribute. And I see you're sharing the activity and everybody that's contributed. Like, this is a big village. This is this is a community, and every single person that has contributed to this, also through workshops, through memberships, through getting something from the Vision Train shop, like, this is so key to being able to keep this train rolling. And yeah, thank you everyone so much. And, let's see what else happens in the next 7 hours, 6 hours. If you feel like there's somebody that pops up that you can think of that you want to share this fundraiser with, we would be grateful. We know that it's all coming to us, what we need, what is needed to produce, and we're learning all the time too. What does it take to produce something like this and not be extractive? To produce a continuously available space station that holds space, there's systems behind this, so many systems. We've built out a new conductor training that is going to continue to evolve and grow. And thank you, Nina, so much, one of the engineers who's really, Nina's has been volunteering the whole time to support the train. And if you're on the Mighty Networks, you'll probably hear from her at some point, because she's really looking out for those that are stepping on for the first time. And Ask Me Anything corner is something that she put together. But we are so curious in also evolving this these systems and making it easier, right, to get on board. And we know that there's, like, through all the tech, we're learning too. It's all, how does this work? How can we make it more, easy to facilitate this connection and to host art jams? I gotta say that, to me, one of the most valuable things about the train that I think is going to continue to be something really of value is coming together and creating in the same sonic space. So it doesn't matter where you are in the world, you can tune in and we can listen to music together, listen to podcasts, we can host interviews, do workshops, all of this, and be alone together, creating our most important work in a time of global change. And it's going to continue changing. That's the one thing we can always, expect from life. But I do think that this value of creating art through our own hands and not judging ourselves, right? Learning to step past that judgment, and you can do that within a creative community, a supportive community. And that's what I think the Vision Train is. So I'd like to see also the conductor training develop into really being something that conductors can take into their own communities, and host regular art jams. Here in Colorado, Gunnison, Colorado, we host a monthly Vision Train art jam that's free at our local art center, the Gunnison Art Center. And this is the kind of template that I'd like to see happening all over the world, because I know that we are going to need each other more than ever. And for art not to be just a spectacle, to be something that we produce together, that we create together, and we explore our own consciousness, right, of what it is to be human through art and through that creative process. So I know that we're up to something special, something unique here. And I'm curious to see all the other groups and individuals that we're going to continue to connect with in the coming months and years. And yeah, pack your bags and invite your good friends too. Choo choo. And I know we have up next, we've got a next trip rolling in here. You know, trains are supposed to be on time. So we as artists that we're always trying to stretch time and pull rabbits out of hats. We got another trip coming up here. We got one of our conductors, Serena Blossom Appel, is going to be hosting a little session from her train station in Oregon. And this is way cool. We met each other some years ago. Let's pull you up here, Serena. Hi. And I remember you telling me about your vision and what you wanted to do, and you have done it. You're in the midst of it. And I know it's a lot to carry a place for a local community, but it's so important and so valuable. And I'm so grateful that you come on the train and continue to host on the train, and we link our train cards this way.
Yeah. Can you hear me okay?
Yep, we can hear you.
Great. Yeah, no, I had the vision of this since I think even before I got into, I went to art therapy school at Merrill-Houston University in Portland, where sadly it's not there anymore, but like was a very well-regarded program. And, you know, I feel like a number of us kind of had visions or ideas about how we wanted to bring art and healing out into the community, but I'd always had like this thought in my mind, you know, like walking past an empty storefront, it's like, oh, I could turn that into something, you know, and I was, you know, putting that in my application, and I think maybe that's why they picked me. It was like, I'm going to do this thing and I'm going to bring this out to the community and I'm ready to go. Like I haven't even like actually applied to the program yet. And the way that I've constructed, so I have a little creative art center and gallery here in Florence, Oregon. It's on the coast, about an hour west of Eugene, for people who are familiar with the area. And I actually modeled what I'm doing after a number of other spaces that I've been to that really have inspired me in my journey with art and healing. You know, like it started out as being something that I was just passionate about for myself and I wanted to share with other people. And then I realized that, you know, a lot of us are also on board with that. So, you know, like, there's been spaces like 100th Monkey Studio in Portland, Earth Space PDX, and, you know, a lot of the festivals I went to. I got to go to Glastonbury Festival back at the end of college, and I got to see, you know, how they were bringing a lot of like the consciousness and the cultural transformation to the festival scene, and just kind of like that consciousness of idea. And, you know, really building this idea that we can have something beyond just, oh, we're making paintings. You know, it's like, yes, you get people in the door by saying, okay, well, we're gonna do a paint and sip and we're gonna have fun and we're gonna like learn how to do some skills, but really it's the connection. And I have people coming in the door every week where they're like, okay, I want to be with other people to be able to do this. I don't want to just have to like sit in my room and do it by myself. So I promised Allie that we would do a little studio tour if you guys are ready. Then we can walk around and see.
Awesome. Yeah, can't wait.
So let me, so I can turn my camera around.
And also, the Haven PDX is where we originally met. I know they've changed
Yes.
locations now, but they've always been so inspiring to me, and I look forward to coming back someday. Cool.
Yeah, that Haven PDX, that was really special workshop. And they moved to an even bigger building, so that was pretty fun. So we have our front room here. I'm going to start from the actual beginning because it is a beautiful day out on the Oregon coast. So here's a little bit of our downtown. It's a beautiful day. It's a little sign. And then you walk in, and then, you can immediately see like there's something happening over here. And you want to say hi, Chris? Okay. We have Zool at the front desk right now. And we got some plant pots that were decorated by one of our local artists. You can like buy. We have about 20 different people who have consigned their work here. So I have a mix of some things that are wholesale that I've picked up from artists who have like multiple things available. Yeah. So I have things like Autumn Sky and um, then I have some people who are also local to here. I have some merch. So we have lots of stickers. We have Woke Face, like she's a well-loved artist from Portland. I have all kinds of local jewelry and cards and fun stuff for sale. Then we have the workshop. And you might recognize some imagery because I have some stuff from Leslie Burke and Rachel Rusango, who is another artist that has been gaining some popularity. And we have some local stuff. Everybody's in love with we have these little seahorses that are made by one of our local artists who collected shells from Hawaii and from around the area and has some like vintage costume jewelry that she's put together. Those are pretty popular. We've got some things from my friend in Ashland who does liminal photography. So she takes a variety of different types of imagery and then she layers them together. So they create these magical kinds of images. Let's see. We have some stuff of mine. Then we branched out into the hallway. So right now I have an AR activated poster series up by Amplifier Arts. They're an organization that uses art for social change. And you are able to scan the posters with a cell phone, and then they tell you a story about the background about the people that are represented and what kinds of things that they're doing. So you can see Valerie Kaur right there in the middle. So she's been part of the Revolutionary Love Project, for example. And the posters come alive, so it's pretty exciting. And back here's actually a painting from my dad, Robert Appel. So a lot of his stuff is still in storage that I hope to get back out someday, but this is something that I managed to snag from him. He's like, what painting of mine do you want? It's like this one. So it's one of the last ones that he did before he passed away. He's got some collage layering there. He spent most of his life trying to come up with color combos. He used something called the Munsell color system, which is different than the Pantone system, and it has a lot of really subtle gradations to it. Zoom can't really do it justice, but it's got a lot of really soft, subtle colors. So this is something where he's kind of like playing around and seeing what you could do with the shapes and the colors. And back here, I have work that's from personal collection and studio collection, things that people have gifted to us, and it's really about the art of art and healing or art therapy. Like these are people who have all made things that have been, working through something, whether that was, mental health stuff or dealing with like social stigma or, different types of issues. There's a Chris Haberman. He's also another popular artist in Portland. He actually started out with one of the same creative spaces that I did, and he just took off in the community art space. This one back here is one that I did back when I was kind of like at a crossroads myself back in 2003. So it kind of came up as a literal crossroads. So I kind of feel like this is a good one to, kind of go to the back door. And we're going to go all the way back here. I'm gonna end up in my studio here, so continue to hang out. And my not as organized studio, but you can see a little bit of the back scenes here. And then this is a portal painting that I'm working on. So I've been part of this portal painting, like art medicine practitioner workshop with Alexis Cohen. It's a year-long certification program, and she has us doing portal painting. So this is my expansion portal, is what we called it. So I started this earlier this year. It's been like, several months that I've been working on this one, and I feel like it's getting close to being done. And there's a bunch of different layers on this one. So it's actually like that process of, going deep into the alignment that we were talking about, and then being able to bring forth like something that helps to, move you to the next level. And it's been a really amazing process. Like I've had a lot of life shifts that have happened like since I started this piece that really correspond with kind of the theme that was going on. Um, One of the other ones, I just got back from a festival called Lunasa Cascadia, and this is what happened to the piece that I started at that workshop with Amanda at the Haven. So all of this parts that got filled in the middle, like I spent a week in the woods in Oregon, and this is what the transformation was. I was like surrounded by amazing music and other artists that were live painting, and they all helped me have so much inspiration to be able to get to the next stage. So I feel like this is another portal. This is my cocoon portal, and I'm excited to see what happens when I start to put the color layers on it. So I have a lot of people that are sharing their work. I have a lot of workshops that are going on. I'm going to build my own workshops and art jams and getting together with Serene Abundant Studio Space. So you can stay tuned. Sassflow.com. I will drop that in the chat for anybody that's interested. So we have all of our things that are for sale are also available online on our website. And if you come out to Oregon, we'd be happy to have you come out.
Choo choo.
Oh my goodness, what a beautiful space. So, have you had any visitors from the train out to the space since you've opened it up? And how long have you had the studio open for?
I started actually like in a little office space that was in 2018. So I just had like this 400 square foot office, and I had part of it as, like here's my little counseling corner because I do art therapy, art and talk therapy with people, and then I would have art exhibits. And it would just have like a monthly, like every different month we'd have something else. And we actually I kept that going through the pandemic. And what happened was that because we were all kind of stuck, like what do we do? Like I kind of had a similar thing happen with Vision Train, that I had a Facebook group and I started posting stuff in the Facebook group. And it was like I posted a weekly prompts, and then we would get together and we'd have like artists come and like present some materials and do art shares. And I would like have an exhibit, and I would like, post stuff like online about like this is our monthly art exhibit. And people engage with it. And like I got to help make the artists more visible during that period when nobody could go out in person. And it's been growing gradually since then. So I got to move from like a little 450 square foot office to now 2,000 square foot space.
That's
It's a
so
lot.
exciting.
It's a lot to, hold on to, but at the same time, we've hosted lots of different artists and poets and musicians and different kinds of people to come out with the space. Like I had like a dance party, like workshop. We had ribbon dancing, like so like the having the space that we have now, like it opened it up a lot more to be able to, have the kinds of interactive arts as well as having just kind of doing painting and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, and for me, I can feel as soon as I step through the door, like you said, that this is like totally a multi-purpose space that is like supporting multiple creators, you know what I mean? So you've done such a fantastic job of creating that atmosphere, or maybe those kinds of atmospheres, create themselves and we just get to be a part of it. But I know the hard work that goes into it and see you like celebrating that arc of growth is so cool. Yeah, to be just in the heart of a vibrant downtown space like that, and to be able to have people wandering in, and to have, yeah, there's something I think for a long time, and especially sort of birthing all of this during the pandemic, I know there was questions about like, is brick and mortar the way to go? Is that like all ending now? But like it's so nice to reach this new stage where, yeah, we can have like physical spaces where we can share and connect. And yeah, I would love to come out sometime to Oregon and check out
Yeah.
the space. It would be so wonderful. And I know you had prepared something for critical mass as well. The idea you shared with me, I just love the name that you brought to it, was creating around our tables. And I imagine now that you've got some space, like you said, you're getting to host more like live event type stuff in your space, but also out in the community in collaboration with other people. And yeah, I've gotten to experience, you were doing regular trips on the train featuring your art therapy practices, and the tools you brought for communication, not only with one another, but for introspection as well, and being in dialogue with myself, were so illuminating and so fun. And so I was just so excited when you submitted to be part of the gathering tonight, because I know it's been a whirlwind for a lot of us these last several months. And as a conductor, I mean, you've been a conductor for years now, and you've been always so involved. But as all of us, the seasons of life take us in different directions. And so it's wonderful, wonderful to have you back. And I'm super curious, yeah, what you have prepared. I wanted to bring up maybe a few people. Marina, do you want to be part of some of the start off dialogue? And I've got my friends Adam and Paul that I can bring up. Let me find them. And yeah, you can guide us a little bit, and the rest of us can grab our sketchbooks and our notebooks and follow along, and then we'll have some time at the end, I'm sure, or whatever Serena decides, she'll weave us and guide us along. But let me go ahead and spotlight some folks. And yeah, I'm excited. Maybe have I lost my powers? I'm not seeing anything oh, maybe because you're not on camera. So if you do want to be up here on the stage with me, you'll have to be on camera. But otherwise, whoever is here and ready, there's Adam. I can bring you up. Hi, Adam. There we go.
Plugins. Was anybody?
There's Paul. Perfect. Hi. Yeah, we like to bring in people from as many communities as possible, ideally, during critical mass. So it's cool to have, yeah, you representing the studio in Oregon. That's also in alignment with the Vision Train. And these guys are coming in from the Viraverse, which is headquartered in Montana, but is also like the Vision Train global virtual hybrid funky space. So I've been spending a lot of time there myself. Every Thursday, they have an open call that's just fabulous called Fun and Flow. So, yeah. Anybody else, any of the conductors or crew want to be a part of the sort of panel that Serena has planned? Marina, should I bring you up? I guess you don't have to. I know you can bring yourself up. If you want to, you don't have to. And if anybody else wants to, just raise your hand. But yeah, Serena, why don't you go ahead and get us started? What do you have planned for us?
Well, I've really been thinking about the portal season, it's the eclipse season. So today is the actual lunar eclipse. So it's the back end of what started like a few weeks ago with the solar eclipse. And what I've been noticing, so I do want to work with people to do mental health and creative arts therapies as well as doing the community art stuff and working with people in community. And I've really been noticing a lot of the deep emotions, like, the kind of cultivating that, we were talking about the earth, like getting back to like the dark and the wet, like the prima materia, the unconscious, like rotting goddess stuff. And a lot of that is getting churned up. So it's like we're plowing the fields for something new to grow. And there's been a lot of it's felt like a roller coaster to me. It's like just kind of up and down, like with people. It's like the minute that like I feel like I've gotten some equilibrium, then somebody else pops up and they're like they're having a time that's really emotional. But it's not destroying us. It's something that's really bringing things up that are very fertile to be worked with, or like old themes or old associations or old things that like you have thought you would put away a long time ago are like popping back up to be worked with. So I feel like that's kind of a potent place for us because it's really the transformation is going from like what we're trying to compost of like the previous part of the year into what we're trying to build towards. And I've been feeling that all year. It's like, come on, let's go, let's make it happen, and get in there and dig in and like do the work to make that happen. So there's been a lot of coming together around projects too this year that I felt has been like really fruitful and happy to be part of. So, I'm curious what it's been like for other people.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because when you talked about this sort of roller coaster and this is like trip number 4 today of the grand finale, and that theme just keeps coming up in different ways, whether it's a roller coaster or a thunderstorm or a storm at sea or different things churning, definitely. And it was funny because I thought about how many times it was like, Serena's coming, Serena's not coming, Serena's coming, and how that was like not even, it didn't even register. Like, I never for a moment sweated it, like one way or another, because it was just so par for the course right now. It was just like, okay, another thing like this. Our friend Chance, the founder of the Veraverse, was going to be a part of it today. He's like, I'm going to do something radical. I'm going to bail and take my kid on a hike. Uh, I'll see you guys when I get back. And he's going to be back tomorrow. We're going to be hosting an awesome psychedelia trip with Marley and our friend Tom. And so, you know what I mean? But it's just so funny. The energy of both ambition, but also surrender. And it's like the oscillation, like I'm loving that there's less polarity with all this movement. You know what I mean? You're not getting stuck in one place, that's for sure. So, yeah, I'm curious. What about you guys? What do you think?
Yeah, I think there's an amazing amount of energy that's going on right now, and you know, just all this partnering that we're doing right now between the Veraverse and Vision Train and Amuna and the Wisdom Workshop and everything that you're talking about, Serena, in terms of like, just reconnecting to nature and whatnot. And I'm going to actually throw in the chat a link to our upcoming nature retreat, which if anybody's interested in actually going out into nature and reconnecting and um, you know, being in a group and gathering in person, that would be amazing. Um, but yeah, I think everything that, the Vision Train is trying to do, everything that we're trying to do in the Veraverse, Muna, so aligned around this energy that, you can kind of feel in your bones. And I know, Adam, you probably have a lot to say about this as well. And, if you want to jump in, feel free.
Yeah, it's been an interesting ride for sure. And Allie's been there to witness some of it in Fun and Flow, which I'd throw that link in our chat too. And just this, for me, a lot of what showed up is the need to let go of some of that past stuff that's resurfaced in my life and this struggle of like feeling stuck and moving forward. And um, it's being here with you all today has kind of brought me back to being grounded. I shot out in our WhatsApp group that I'm gonna bounce here somewhat early because I'm being called to the woods to go camp and sleep in nature. And I need to. It's just gotta happen. And it's that reset in this time, apparently. But Ganga recentered me, grounded me with her meditation, and all of this discussion around the creation of new communities, of a new way of moving forward, of a vision of what humanity and the world can be, and the fact that it can all start with us as individuals, right? And just little work that we do to be more confident in who we are, to be more grounded to who we are, to be reconnected to Mother Nature. And then that allows us to show up in spaces like these, which I'm just struck by how much it feeds everybody. There doesn't need to be, it's not a linear path like the train, right? You know, the train works on the microaxial network and goes wherever the hell it wants to. And there's no figure of authority who has all the answers. It's the answers are within all of us, and the way in which all of us are enabled to show up for each other in these spaces is really amazing. And I love that it is reclaiming technology in a way that builds more humanity, as opposed to what technology has kind of done and pull us apart and separate us. And that's really, really something I find beautiful in this. And what maybe the whole inception of technology was meant to be in the first place, was to allow folks to really connect authentically, not be a tool for marketing and the machine, as we call it. So really, really happy to be here.
Yeah, amazing. Thank you for sharing, and nice to meet you, Adam. I think we wrote before, but yeah, it's been really nice, this connection of all these communities, these art communities that comes together here on the train. I am doing something for the first time that I never done before. I soon will draw in the same paper as Kyra and Ish. Like I've never played around with my friends like that, like after being on the train, after being community. And now I have this opportunity to do this because you all inspire me like to do more art, together to make art. And yeah, since like we have some friends here. I have my friend here. She's with her daughter, and yeah, we've been together here like for 13 years that I know my friend, but more friends supposed to come as well, and we gather to make art. Like we gather to do good things together. And this community, the Vision Train, being on the train, and like has given me this possibility of like I've never thought of this before, being on the train. And well, like connecting to these moments of the stars and what we are living. It is really interesting, like like how can we, I don't know, like it's collective. Everyone is feeling like this, the same energy of this transformation, of this, like this is what we need to do, like this yeah, emergency, like affirming, like assurance, yeah, like this. Okay, it's clear. We're supposed to gather to make art and let the magic happens, like because it does, like it goes beyond our imagination. Yeah, we have to be creative. Like, what are we coming together for? And yeah, but that always like exceeds our expectation and what happens. So yeah, I'm truly glad to be connected with each of you.
Yeah, and I think you're hitting on something really important, Marina, in terms of, we're gathering here online, but we take what we're doing here online and we take it out into the world. I'm about to leave Monday for an annual creative retreat in Scotland, where I'm going to be gathering with, 12 other people and co-creating, writing, drawing, hiking. We're going to be out in nature. And, what we're doing here online, we can expand what we're doing here by going out into the world and taking what we're learning here and going out into the world and, spreading the word and co-creating out in the world as well as just online with each other. So fantastic that you're with Kyra and Ish and other people and co-creating in person, because I think that that's super important as well.
Yeah, I've been bringing it out into the local community now for a little while, and I bring like local creatives in to be able to showcase their work, but also I got together with some of the other people who have small businesses in our little corner, which is Old Town. So it's kind of the tourist destination for our little coastal town. And it is a destination. It's like people come here from all over the world, and we're like, we need to address some of the issues that are not getting addressed with running Old Town and making our businesses successful. But also, what can we do to try to celebrate and bring people here year round? And we hit on, I've been running First Friday community potlucks and like have an activity or have a presentation like every month. And I started talking with them about it, and like the idea took off. So we are now finishing the maps for an Old Town wide First Friday. We have over 30 businesses that have pledged to be part of the tour. It's going to happen on the first Friday in September. We're going to have donation partners. So it's also turned into a fundraiser, and the money for September is going to go to Oregon Coast Humane Society. So for our activity, we're going to have painting with cats, and people are super stoked about that. So like there can be this kind of mycelial web that can happen in the larger community. And I feel like that's, when that things have started to become successful, is like you get it out of the little like petri dish container of, like here's all of these creative people doing the ideas, and it starts to actually build out into the large community. So like, and I've had the support and the collaboration like experience. So I've been able to bring that kind of positivity to these meetings with like people who are, some of us are all coming from really different places with like how we're talking about things. But, it's like having that model from like working on the train and like working in groups to try to say like, hey, we can all get together and do this. And what happens if we try something? And people are getting excited about, let's try something, and like we're going and spreading all of that excitement, and everybody's now like really on board with having a great event. So it can happen. We can transfer this onto the culture.
Yeah, and I mean, it speaks to imagination and creativity. I think those words get like tossed around like child's play, right? But like think about it in terms of like business and economics, and what really makes the world go round is that creativity and that willingness to put your neck out there and step outside the box and color outside the lines. And so to have you coming in as someone who does art therapy, which takes people from wherever they are in their life and brings in that creativity in a really tangible and approachable way in a time where people can be really vulnerable, and remind them, that this is natural for humans to sort of navigate our way through life, through the best and the worst of times, with our creativity. That's our gift as human beings. So I just love that. If you wanted to share anything from that sort of perspective, or even a practice with us while we're all here, I know it's like so easy to demonstrate in just 5 minutes, like how much each of us has so much untapped creativity, just like there wanting to serve us, if we just develop and cultivate that relationship with it, right?
Yeah, I can give it a shot. So um on this theme of, kind of processing everything and like moving towards something that is emerging, then maybe we can do just a little meditation. You can kind of just take a moment to feel into that, like close your eyes if you feel called to, or just kind of hang out and just pick a spot to meditate on. Just kind of take a few deep breaths. Feel yourself sitting in the chair, or feel your feet on the floor, connected to the earth, feeling the support around you, feeling the other people that are connected on this call, on the train, feeling your guides, feeling your creative ancestors, who you're inspired by, who's come before, feeling your creative spark, that ever renewing source that we all have. Just being able to settle a minute. Feel all of these ways that we're connected. And maybe you have a sense already, or maybe through this connection, you can have a sense of what's emerging. What does that look like for you? What does that feel like for you? Is it something that you can visualize you can visualize yourself in the future, in a place, doing a thing? Or maybe it's more of an intuitive sense. Maybe it's a sound, maybe it's words, maybe it's a shape, maybe it's a color. Just give it a moment to see what wants to emerge that would be in service of this vision that we're trying to co-create, that we're creating through our devotion. What wants to emerge? Out of this fertile ground. When you have a sense of that, you can express gratitude and thanks to your connections, your creative spirit, creative genius, to the earth that's holding us, to the life force. And when you're ready, you can come back to the room. Maybe grab some pen and paper or whatever you'd like to take some notes with, and do a little sketch, do a little writing, and see what comes out. Yeah, she's already ready. You want to have a little bit of music? Do some creating. See if I can try to find something.
I can find something.
Okay. Marina has been an amazing DJ on the train for some time now. I can't hear you.
Yeah.
For just $67, you can generate as many videos as you want.
Choo-choo.
Choo choo choo. Yeah, thanks for that. Um, so we have a few minutes. I have to hop off at 3:30 my time. But we have a couple minutes if people would like to share what came through for them and how that was.
I can start.
Mhm.
I was just during the meditation, I was just past this drawing by Ish and Kyra.
Mm,
And when you were mentioning like we were grounding in our body, you were mentioning like, hey, maybe you are seeing something. And I start to see waves. And then this is me. That is
mm,
like Kyra and Nish over here, and then me on the bottom here. And we are creating this galactic being
very cool.
surfing somewhere. Thank you so much.
Yeah. It's awesome.
So synchronicity and in the spirit of co-creation, um, you said the word waves, Marina, and it inspired me to write a poem called Waves,
Mm.
which I'm happy to read. It's very simple. I didn't probably not even a finished poem at this point, but waves of generosity, waves of spirit, waves of creative genius, waves of gratitude, waves of old stories falling away, waves of deep friendships, waves of new connections, waves of kindness. The waves, in and out, constant movement, advancing and receding. We ride the waves, falling and failing, advancing and receding, until that one perfect ride, right into the shore, where home is waiting, waving you back into your true self over and over again.
Mm, that's amazing.
Thank you for the inspiration, Marina.
Yeah, we're definitely swimming in the field today. I was feeling the same way. What came to me as what wanted to emerge was an interesting archetype that I'm not familiar with. So please, if anyone, if this rings a bell, mine was a cold flame, which and again, it's like kind of paradoxical, which is part for the course for me, but it's one I'm unfamiliar with. And I also got a little bit of a poem in the end. It says, Cold flame rising from the depths beneath the ocean floor, the pearl at the core, seed of life learning to dance, a romance of life and death, and whatever else there is.
Mm, lovely. You can feel that potent like seed coming to fruition.
I know that your cocoon piece was really speaking to me, like this idea of a seed. Anything with life that wants to burst forth like that is just so fertile. So thank you for sharing that.
Yeah. Anybody else have something they want to share?
I'll share. I threw it in the chat too, but just building off of like that seed of life component. For me, it was a hand holding a spark of life with the energy and consciousness of the universe coursing through the arm and up to the hand and that seed of life. The hand holds hope, joy, and love, the fruits of imagination and creativity. There's nothing better and more powerful to break the chains of the status quo as creativity and unbridled imagination. For they are the garden, the soil, the birthplace of all new creations, ideas, or new ways of being.
Mm.
Yeah, I love that because I literally, during the meditation, when the flame came, I literally had my hands out like this, and it was so interesting because I could feel that it was cooled in my hand, but I could see and sense that it was a flame. So the fact that you were bringing the hands into it was really cool. Thanks for that.
Mm-hmm.
I had something come I had like a tree image that came to me, and I might not be able to see it very well, but I have a person who's like sitting and like drawing. So a person sitting and drawing a tree, and then the person is the tree, and then there's like the energy coming up the spine and then like going up through the all of the different systems, because when we were having the meditation earlier about like the different systems with like the neural networks and like the mycelial network and like all that sort of thing. So it's like got the networks kind of flowing out into a tree. So we got like little plant stuff going around in the background. So it's kind of bringing all that together,
Mm.
channeling little Alex Gray skeleton stuff here.
So cool. It's too light for me to see personally, but I loved your description of it. It was reminding me, is it Escher that has the hand drawing the hand? Yeah, it
Yeah.
was like that was coming up for me too. It was very cool. Yeah.
Mhm.
Does anyone else have anything they wanted to share? We've got just a couple more minutes. Brian, are you raising your hand? I can bring you up.
Yeah, yes. I like just I don't know why I put myself out there, but um I'm not sure I did this right because like especially this week I'm just diverted into vision train when processing other stuff. So this is the other stuff that's kind of sort of when like especially when Serena said something about the life force and all of that sort of like this is I guess remembrance. Um, okay. Uh, this is still I'm still trying to figure out what I'm saying here. Okay, this is a poem. Uh, Losers and butlers and Pennywise, transvestites and one third of a trio, country tunes of harmony and humanity. And that's sort of in reference to the deaths of Tim Curry and Dolly Parton.
Mm.
Tim Curry played a enormous influence on me. I just came right up at that age when Clue came out on home video. And then I was a teenager when it happened on the television and you know, and Rocky Horror, that was sort of like a lot of that was very present. Um, so I just thought like and sort of when you're speaking of the connection and stuff like that, that we're all connected in going somewhere. um in the sense and we're all connected by what we are leave behind and stuff, you know. So that's all I have.
Thank you, Brian.
No problem.
Yeah, I'm kind of in that generational echelon as well, like growing up hearing Dolly Parton and, everybody that was like the same age as me, like in high school, was sneaking out to do Rocky Horror, like, reenacting it. That was like a big deal where I came from. So yeah, I totally get where you're coming from. Well, thanks everybody, and I have really enjoyed being a part of Critical Mass today, and thank you all for going on this little trip with me. I'm gonna jump off now and hand it back to Allie, and hope you have a good rest of your day.
Thanks, Serena.
We totally will. And thank you again, Serena, for being here. And, anytime you've got space in your very busy schedule, I know you know where to find us. You're more than welcome aboard. We'd love to cook up some more offerings with you. So it's been such a pleasure. Thank you again.
Yeah, we'll come up with something. I'll talk to you.
Definitely. Or maybe we got to do something in person in Oregon. We got to check the radar and see who we got in the crew that's at least approximate to Oregon. Or I know more and more of us are just like looking for more reasons to travel. COVID's far in the rear view. We can go anywhere, anytime, right?
Yeah. Yeah, we're totally welcome to host folks that want to come out.
Great. Awesome. Well, I also want to welcome up Celine. She's going to be joining us for our final segment of Critical Mass. Let me see. There she is with her conductor hat on, looking so cute. Oh, it's great to see you. And I love the print on your shirt. Is that artwork on your shirt?
I don't know. This was thrifted.
Oh, it's so cool. Yeah, it
I'm
looks one of a kind. I'm into it.
yeah, I'm pretty into the asymmetrical shirts.
Yeah, yeah. It reminds me a lot of your sort of collage work in a way, like the eco
Mhm.
collage very much. Yeah, beautiful. Wow, it's so good to see you. And Marina and I have been on 6.5 hours now, Marina. We've been going, 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 going. So
We
much of it has been live stream. It is
live
the
stream.
grand finale.
Yes, and really exciting because yeah, the energy here has been like really good and flowing and like everything connecting for this like let's get creative time and yes, celebration and harvesting 100%.
Yeah. So 1 second, let me go ahead and I'll just pause the recording and then restart it so we have nice, good beginning and ending. And then, yeah, Celine will let you introduce yourself and tell us what we have next.
Sure. Thank you, Allie. Super excited to be here. And yeah, so to kind of celebrate this harvest reaping of this wonderful fundraiser and this amazing week or several weeks, I wanted to just share a little bit about the trip that I've been offering for the last few months, do kind of a little check-in, show some of the artwork that's come out of it, and yeah, just share a bit for people that haven't gotten to come and celebrate the people that have. So I am going to share my screen. All right. So you can all see that okay? Okay. So the trip that I have been conducting is called Creative Geometry, and it's a pretty like beginner-friendly container to engage with sacred geometry, as well as just kind of combining very simple geometric constructions with the creative process and intuitive drawing. So this is something that happens every new moon. So I have been, whoop, here we go. So the series is called Encompass, and it's 13 lunar months of creative geometry. So every new moon for 13 months, I am committed to doing these workshops. So it started in April of this year, and it's going until next April. And 13 lunar months because that is a lunar year. And so what's unique about the new moons is that the sun and moon are both in the same sign. And so it's kind of this amplification of the zodiac as we go from Aries, the first house, all the way through the 12, and then finish again with the rebirth of Aries. So a little bit about how it works is every workshop goes through 3 parts. Part 1 is the geometric construction. So every month is something new, a different tutorial, so that you get a chance to learn something new. And each one is recorded, so at the end there will be 13 recordings of completely different tutorials that you can go through at any time. And what's awesome about the construction phase is that we only use pure geometry, so you don't need any numbers. You don't need any math or calculations. All you need is a compass like this and a straight edge. So that is kind of the tradition of pure geometry. And it's very conducive to the creative process because it keeps the right brain kind of logic out of it and just lets you explore more with using spatial reasoning. Part 2 is kind of an intuitive creation phase. So basically just an art jam where you get to take what we've drawn with pencil and personalize it. And this is super open-ended. You can use any materials that you want. Sometimes I offer thematic questions for contemplation, particularly around the astrological sign. Or I'll also offer like kind of visual inspiration, different directions that you could take your drawing. But it's really kind of, that's your moment to get as creative as you want. And this part of the workshop, I get my co-conductor, Christopher, who goes by the DJ name White Rabbit 729. He prepares a brand new music mix for every single workshop. And he does this not only for my new moon trips, but for his full moon trips. So later tonight, after this, we will get to hear a very special mix prepared by him. And for the music phase, I like to ask him to stick to either classical or electronic, just because, again, that keeps it in the kind of right brain realm, rather than music with too many lyrics. And then the third part is just kind of an open-ended sharing circle. So because this is a workshop that follows the lunar cycle, it's an opportunity to kind of vocalize any intentions or reflections for the lunar month, either the one that has finished or what's coming up, as well as to inspire each other with our creative explorations, because it's really infinite where you can go with just a geometric prompt. And yeah, so that's kind of how it works. So just to reiterate, these workshops are for anybody. So if you are a total beginner to sacred geometry, to drawing, you are more than welcome. Again, you don't need any math. It's very beginner friendly. And at the same time, if you're very experienced with sacred geometry, you are very welcome to come, because the spirit of it is that every time that you draw one of these shapes, you're bringing a new version of yourself to it. And so you're going to see something different in it and take it in a new direction in the creative part. So for me, these are things that I've drawn many times, and yet every time that I come back to this practice, I never know what's going to come out of it. So that is the invitation. Oops. So the very first creative geometry that was offered on the Vision Train was in April, or sorry, March. And this was for the connection themed anniversary week. And so for that, I wanted to do a tutorial in the Flower of Life. And then I took some of the artwork that came out of that. So there are several artists in this tapestry here that I kind of digitally combined using the geometric pattern to kind of weave us into a visual connection. So then kicked off the 13 months. So the first month was the new moon in Aries in April. And for that one, I don't know why I chose a very ambitious tutorial to start with, but I did. So that was using the Triskelion, which is this kind of triple-armed spiral. The second new moon was in Taurus, and for that one, we focused on the circles and squares pattern, which is kind of this nested, the nesting of a circle inside a square, inside a circle, inside a square. So kind of a concentric fractal. And for that, we explored kind of going inward and outward with this repetitive meditation on spirit and matter. The third edition for the new moon in Gemini was what I call the ripples and waves geometry. And this is more of a linear fractal of kind of drawing circles along an axis and finding where the serpentine lines as well as the kind of concentric ripples emerge. And it was measured in such a way so that you could get the 7 chakras aligned there if you wanted to take it in that direction. And here we have a lovely example by Mahadevi Courtney. The fourth edition was the new moon in Cancer, and that one was using the inverted circle to create a pattern called flowers and stars. And so this was the idea of kind of expanding like a radiant star and then contracting as kind of a flower Yeah. You'll have to watch the recording to get the full conceptual reasoning of that. Um, but we had some really lovely artwork come out of that one as well. This is Austin, another conductor. Um, yeah, and then the two on the right were my work. And then the most recent one was for the solar eclipse in Leo. And so for the eclipse, because of the opening of the eclipse portal, I wanted to focus on the vesica piscis, which is this very simple geometry of the two overlapping circles of equal size, and just kind of invite this contemplation of what is coming through that central portal. So here we have a lovely work by Ali and by Chantal. So what we have to look forward to coming up next is the new moon in Virgo, and this one is going to be slightly more advanced than the flower of life. We're going to start with the flower of life, which is very easy. But then I will take it a step further to, if you can see the light blue pattern overlaid on the purple flower of life here. It's going to be a very kind of linear counterpoint to the flower of life. So it's often referred to as the masculine version if the flower of life is the feminine. So that will be our exploration for the next one. And also, if you don't want to do the advanced part, you are more than welcome to come just for the flower of life. All of these are set up in such a way where you can diverge at any point. It's very encouraged. So I'll just run through what we have for the next rest of the series. So the seventh one for the new moon in Libra is going to be the heptagram, which is the 7-pointed star. Again, this one is a little bit more advanced, not terribly, but there will be some room for error. So if you're a perfectionist, you might not want to embark on that one. But it's a very interesting shape, has a lot to do with alchemy, magic, and I like to think of it as a mischievous shape because it is the first kind of irrational proportion. The 8th edition for the new moon in Scorpio is going to be about the octagram. So that is the 8-pointed star. And this one I really correspond with destiny and direction. So it's a lot about the 8 points on the wheel of the year, the 8 directions, kind of finding orientation in time and space. The 9th edition for the new moon in Sagittarius is going to be about the Philosopher's Stone. And to be perfectly honest, this is not one that I have mastered. It's a very elusive geometry. If it's something that you're familiar with, please come. Otherwise, we will just explore together. It'll be fun. But it's a very, even if we don't get it perfectly, the basic idea is that it's combining the circle, square, and triangle. And through that, symbolically, we're engaging with the body, mind, and spirit. For the new moon in Capricorn, we will be making the pentagram, which is a very interesting fractal. I would say it's medium advanced. Yeah, it's a fun one. So yeah, I encourage you to come to that one. The new moon in Aquarius will be drawing this shape, the Web of Weird, which is kind of the template for bind runes. So if you are familiar with the runes, that would be a fun one to have you come and bring your experience, your interpretation. Yeah, but that will also be kind of a looking at like abstract language and yeah, kind of symbol weaving. And then the new moon in Pisces is a shape called the lotus of life. So this is basically the flower of life, but we're going to turn it 90 degrees and transpose it on itself. Um, so this is going to be kind of a 12 petaled shape, which the number 12 has a lot to do with archetypes. And yeah, so that's what we'll be exploring. And the finale is going to be in April 2027. And for this one, we'll be making the golden spiral using collage. So this is one that I've done with friends in the past, and it's a lot of fun. It becomes kind of this vision board of kind of envisioning where you want to grow into. So that'll be a fun one that you should come to. And so super exciting. I am very honored to be having some of these creative geometry artworks that I've made through these workshops now available in the Vision Train shop. Um, so if you were there to see the start of some of these sketches, this is how they turned out. And you can kind of see, the very first one there, the Triskelion, the circles and squares, and the ripples and waves. This is just one direction that you can take this. So I took my sketch and added paint and found poetry and collage and then kind of digitally remixed it. And so now they are available as postcards and framed posters and stickers. And huge thank you to Marina for making all of that possible. And last but not least, I do have, this is something that predates this offering on the Vision Train, but I did write a zine to accompany the creative geometry journey. So it kind of goes numerically from 1 to 13. And it's all mostly hand illustrated with some help from Canva, but yeah, so you can order the zine on my website if you're interested. And I'll just finish by saying that whenever possible, if you want to share something that you've made during one of these workshops, you can tag creative geometry on Instagram and be added onto the page there. I think it's a really cool kind of way to showcase everyone's different perspectives and yeah, just the infinite possibilities that come out of this practice. So yeah, thank you.
Ah, I just love that. Every part of that was so amazing. It's so good. I love having just the breadth and the depth of the story that you create when you're like weaving across platforms and showing up as yourself in all these different spaces and just like this is so you and you're like getting to like put it out there in so many different ways. And I've got my stickers of Marina's art from the shop. And I put the link in the chat because I am so excited. I think I'm gonna start a club where we can collect and have like scrapbook and like, start trading stickers and all that. Oh my gosh, because I don't want to put them on anything yet. I just first step is get them all collected. Second step is world tour so I can get the backs of them all signed. And then we'll talk about maybe putting them on something. I don't know. Maybe they go in a frame. I don't know. I don't know. But I'm just so excited. Like, can you guys believe that? Like, I mean, the quality of this original art to be able to have it in such an accessible form just feels amazing. I'm over the moon. I'm so excited. I didn't know because I want to pay you guys what the art is worth. Come on. But I didn't know I would be owning Marina Zion Rebels art so soon. Oh, my heart. So good. So, yeah, amazing. And Celine, just to get to like peek ahead. And it's so cool the feeling that it brought to me to know that you have these like sort of geometries already in place waiting for us in the future, you know, and they really, Selena was sharing in the chat, and I love the symmetry because Selena was on earlier doing her lunar guide and different offering with the lunar astrology, and so to have you coming on at the end, it's just like the synchronicity is just. But yeah, it just she was saying in the chat that they really provide these structures for all the different flows. And you know, Marina was sharing earlier in her chart is Scorpio and then water, 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 water. So she's really feeling all these lunar cycles really, really beautifully and intensely at times. I know I am too. So yeah, it's just been a wonderful, wonderful journey from start to finish all day. And we're not even finished yet. I think it would be really special. And Marina, if you want to say anything, but then I want Celine to introduce the next guest because it's just too fun.
Yes, I really thank you so much, Celine, for this presentation. It was really beautiful to see this project, like putting together the artwork of the other artist also, like together with yours, and like how these collections of diversity of expressions that the same geometry can bring, you know, like this is incredible, like to witness it as well. And yeah, I really hope I can make true one of these offerings because there is a lot of knowledge just of you sharing a little bit here in this presentation. I'm like, I am missing a lot. I am missing a lot because, friends, this happens every new moon on the Vision Train, and that is in the schedule on the Mighty Network, and you can check it out. And we can just join Celine, and while she's sharing this amazing knowledge with us here on the train, and that is also available for who are the Express members. So you can check the recordings if you are Express members of the Vision Train. They are available there. And Celine also puts together like really nicely. She do a nice edition about it. And yeah, Celine, it was really a pleasure also to collaborate with you in the shop. Thank you so much. I was like, I this was what the shop was about, to bring the artwork created here on the Vision Train to the world. And now we can do that via these third party printers. And we are, the Vision Train has a few products from the artist. Now Ellie is sharing my stickers that are also available there on the Vision Train shop. So you can go there on the Vision Train shop and start collecting these items. There are also postcards of some of these artworks, and the postcards are like almost a print, you know, like almost. And there are also prints, like you can get a framed print, like really beautiful quality, and collect the artworks of the Vision Train and also support the Vision Train and also support the artists. So it's just like goodness on top of goodness. Like, yeah. So thank you so much, Celine, for that.
Thank you, Marina. It's really, man, the shop is just like looking so gorgeous with all the work on there. Your artwork is beautiful, and it's an honor to be included and to feel like I can contribute to, yeah, just the what the store is for, you know. Um, yeah,
Oh,
and
awesome.
I just want to say thank you for reminding me. I did want to mention that the workshops on the new moon are free to attend. And so I really invite you to come and just partake in that live experience. But then, yeah, the recordings are all available and I edit them down so it's not too much dead air and stuff. Um, yeah, it's going to be a really beautiful collection to just have live on the Vision Train. And yeah, there's going to be a lot packed in there that you can access whenever you're a member. So, Allie, did you want to say anything else for the recording or?
Um, Well, we're getting ready to start the DJ set, so actually, why don't I just real quick before we go, let's check the fundraiser page and see
I believe I
where
can
we're
share
at.
my screen now.
Are you ready or you can't?
I
What did you say?
am
Okay,
ready.
good, because I got it too. Whoever wants it, I've been refreshing it. I'm like looking at
And
it.
now it's a really cool number, but hey, it could be cooler, like, but school, very cool. And we are at $10,422.51 donations. So from then we have Anonymous and Sana and Anonymous. And then now, yeah, these ones were checked before. So we had three since the last time we checked, Ellie. And
That
yeah,
is good.
I just want to check also, friends, the items that you buy on the shop as well count as for the fundraiser. So if you want, you can also get up something from the shop of the Vision Train, and something comes to your house, and a little bit for the Vision Train as always. Or you can come on the Mighty Natch cause space and donate to the Vision Train, and we have 7 hours left.
Is the onesie up? Did Brittany get it? Is it good? Is it on?
It's not on,
Oh my gosh.
yet,
My
but
niece, you
it's
guys, my
coming.
niece was born yesterday. Amelia, she was born just yesterday, and I'm gonna get her a onesie, a Vision Trade onesie, and I'm so excited.
Yes, Vision Train onesie. It's coming, friends. It's really coming. It's on the way to Brittany's house. So soon will be available on the shop. Vision Train onesies and kids t-shirt and more and more.
So
Yeah.
excited. Oh my
And
gosh, I'm so excited.
congratulations,
And
Ellie.
please, you guys, this is for you guys to participate too. Whether you are currently identify as a vision train artist or whether you are an aspiring vision train artist, please come on board and submit your art. Be part of the fun. You guys can sell your art in the shop too. And come on, you know that this is such an inspiring space if you haven't found out already. So,
Yeah, come on board, my friends. So we are ending the live stream here, right?
choo
Bye bye,
choo.
live stream. You can
Zoom
jump on board.
only.
See you on board. Come find the Vision Train at visiontrain.org, and you can find many information about the Vision Train there. And we are here on Zoom. That is a weekly schedule, and you can jump on board. It's free. It's an incredible life journey to be here on the Vision Train with you all. Thank you all so